Hello. Welcome to Dish Knows Nothing. I'm Michael Dishno. Sometimes we'll talk about stuff, and other days we'll talk about things. Some days we're just going to talk about what's on my mind. This is a warning. Thank you for listening. Hello, good day, everybody. I'm excited to be back with you here on episode 2 of season 2, and it feels good to be back, I gotta say. But I also gotta say some other things, I gotta get things out of the way. And this is gonna be a call to anyone who watches the video here. If you guys are watching on YouTube, actually, you know what? As I'm doing this, I'm already gonna start pulling up some information about it, because I'll tell you what. Last week was a battle. I was definitely struggling to get everything together and loaded up, and it added a little bit to my life that I didn't necessarily want, as one would say. So this is going to be right into it, right off the bat, to you guys. If you guys do like the YouTube video, if you are watching it on YouTube, please let me know. Give me some feedback of what could make it better, or if it's perfect, let me know that too, because I got to know that. But as I look at the YouTube here, okay, wait, there was actually 6 views. This is good. I think that means people watched it, because I think I had 2 of those on me and my wife's phone. But there was 6 views, which is enough. If you watched it and you liked it, please let me know. If that is your preferred way of consuming media, please let me know. I will continue to do it. I'll continue to post them on TikTok and Instagram, those little cuts. I will pour into that if that's what people like, because that's kind of where this all started. So I want to get the people what they want. It's that simple. But I needed to start out with that, because actually last week it was a little rough. I was cutting it down to the last minute. Finally got it to upload, which took a while. Then for whatever reason, the art didn't switch over on the podcast apps, which is perfectly fine as well. Things happen, and that's all right. I'm figuring this out with you guys as we're doing it. Throwing it out for you guys today. Another housekeeping thing, guys. So I started, I created a way for you guys to support in a monetary fashion, if that's what you guys want to do. So on anchor.fm, you guys can subscribe to the podcast. I made it $5 a month. That just allows me to kind of see the support that I'm getting, feel supported, use that towards things that can help me make the podcast better, for the best way to say it. So I'll be specific when I'm doing things, if I'm getting another microphone, if I'm trying to start another podcast, getting another host to have their own podcast under this full deal here. Something I posted about this week, and I'll throw it out here for anyone who was following along. But I don't know. This is how do I say it? How do I word what I'm wanting to say? That is the secret of life, isn't that? I would like to have a network of podcast or recording. And actually I got some people who I'm looking to produce some of their music coming up here, and I'm super excited about that, because that'll just give me some experience in it. And I love the support that I get from people about recording music, making podcasts, turning it into videos, doing other podcasts, so on and so forth. But I would like this to be bigger one day. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm going to pour everything into it and make it my primary job. If I did, great, that'd be cool. If I could go off of listener support and all the other things. But what I am looking at is to make a bigger network that I can enjoy and have you guys enjoy. And I forgot entirely what I was going to say. What was I going to say? I didn't write it down. Man, this one really got me. Yeah. The naming. So I'm trying to figure out what to name the recording label that all this is put out under. Currently, it is Judio Records. As I've shared before, I like denim. Regardless of the name, I'd like to turn this couch behind me into denim one day. Entirely reupholster it as denim. That'd be super cool. So let's keep that as a goal together. But also, I was thinking of other names, and I asked my close friends list. I'm sorry if you didn't see it. The close friends list, you guys understand it. It's not meant for everyone. It's meant for things on the lower end. And I feel like, honestly, most of my close friends probably not okay. Most of the people that watch this are probably also my close friends list because, thanks guys, always with the support. So if you're not on my close friends and you watch this, I'm sorry. I'm not going to address that any further. That's just how it is. But I took a trip this weekend. Had a little vacation with my wife. It was a ton of fun. We went up to the Monterey area, which also I was going to share. Man, the weather this weekend was so up and down, and everyone was freaking out about it. Like, we wanted to go to the Monterey area. If you're not familiar, it is north of me. That should be enough. But essentially, everyone was like, yeah, there's a really bad Cat 5 storm going up towards the Bay Area, which Monterey is like 139 miles away, not too much further from San Fran itself. And so everyone was like, yeah, don't go, don't drive. It's going to be terrible. And I'm like, I'm a prepared type of person. I'm not like one to be super fearful. I have anxiety, as it would be just as much as the next guy, I suppose. But, I was like, this is going to be a weird trip. Like, maybe we don't go because everyone's saying we're probably going to die if we're driving this thing. And I was like, that's fine. Like, let's not go. Let's stay home. If it really is going to be this insane storm coming and the roads are going to be flooded and we can't go up the 5 or the 101, like, why would we go? So deciding not to go, trying to cancel. It was a huge hassle. I ended up you have to pay for, I did it through Hopper. This is no professional shade upon Hopper. I think it was just my experience. If someone works at Hopper and listens, you guys want to make it up to me, I will not be upset. You can be a sponsor one day on this podcast and, I'll take it. Be great. But I ended up paying more for their VIP service, which gives you 24/7 chat support. They respond in 5 minutes. They still haven't responded to me. I don't know if anyone has had similar experience or that was just my luck this weekend, but couldn't cancel. Tried to call the hotel. They weren't responding. 3 of their numbers were dead lines. And then finally the hotel, we get a hold of them and they're like, yeah, you have to go through Hopper. And I was like, well, okay, we can't cancel. I guess we're going. So we ended up deciding to go. Straight up bless it, because Friday we drove up, not a drop of rain. Even when we get up there, classic clouds, Monterey weather. No rain. It was great. I think it ended up raining later that evening when we were finally back at our hotel room, which is on the beach. Very nice. And then the next day, no rain until later. So we hit up the aquarium. Super fun. Great time. Saw some otters. Y'all know about otters? It's crazy. They're big. Actually, okay, I'm surprised I didn't Google this sooner. How much does the average otter weigh? In case you guys didn't know. The average otter weighs 10 to 30 pounds. Okay, with a cylindrical body and small head. Sea otters, okay, wait, we're looking at North American river otters right there. Sea otters weigh about 49 to 90 pounds. That sounds a lot better because, dude, when I was looking at these guys, I was like, that thing's as big as my dog. And Bentley's 55 pounds. He's a big boy for the most part. He's a big, small boy because he's still small, but he's big. But no, these dudes are huge. And they're also really heavy because they have the thickest fur in the animal kingdom. They said something like that. But we saw some otters. Funny story. If you guys haven't been in the Monterey Bay Aquarium lately and you haven't heard this, then here, this is free of charge. Unless you're a subscriber. Thank you, Mom. Also, I have to throw out, my mom is the only subscriber right now, and straight up, I love my mom. The sea otters, if you've ever seen them, they lay on their back. They use their bellies as tables as they break open their food and eat the insides of clams and mussels and blah, 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 right? So they were giving them shelled food, stuff like that they have to break open. But then the otters learned that the best way to break them open is not with like other rocks or things that are in there, but it's to smash them on the glass that is for the aquarium. So there's like tons of scratches that they had to like buff out, and they ended up having to stop because like they were just destroying the glass and people couldn't see in, which is really funny. So, you know, they just feed them like soft food now, and then behind the scenes, when they're not in their thing, when they take them elsewhere, they give them hard food to kind of still feel like real otters out in the wild. But yeah, the Monterey Bay Aquarium, pretty crazy. Oh, other thing, this was really cool. They have an open ocean exhibit, so it simulates for all the fish that just live in the open ocean, like without the seafloor, without like stuff around. And this thing is huge. It's a couple million gallons of water, and it could fit 44 school buses inside of the tank. So it's massive. And we got to see them feed, which was crazy because we're looking at like mahi-mahi and like, what was the other fish? There's like two main fish that were in there. There was also like little schools of fish. There's a hammerhead shark, things like that. But they would like throw the food in, and you see like this fish just go like flying down the line to get this thing. Because a mahi-mahi, which is a big old tuna looking fish, if I'm not mistaken, with a big old forehead, also called the dolphin fish. Also, it had a third name. Oh, the El Dorado. Maybe you guys know about that name. It can swim over 40 miles an hour. Like, these things are fast. You should have seen them. When they saw food, they were like going towards the top, super stoked. But had some good coffee up in Monterey. Guys, I would recommend a trip to Monterey. Monterey is not sponsoring me. However, if I was to get a government sponsor, Monterey would be a great choice. So I would recommend going to Monterey, take a little trip there. I'm just stoked that the weather wasn't as bad as like everyone was saying it was going to be, but apparently it was bad the day before. It was also bad the day after, because today, all up on the roads of the 5 and the 101, there were signs that were like, don't travel on Monday because it's going to be awful weather. So I think we got lucky and we missed it, so we were good. But video subscriptions are live. You can go on Anchor. Monterey trip. Guys, this is it. That was my housekeeping stuff. I don't know how that's housekeeping, but it's things I got to say. Just to reiterate, if you zoned out like I did for the last 5 minutes, seriously, if you do like the YouTube videos, please let me know. I'd love to know that you're watching them and what you like and what you'd like to see, because I want to make y'all happy and give you guys the content you guys want, because this is for you. There's a long way for me to go when it comes to video editing. That was my biggest frustration, figuring this all out. Color correction, my least favorite thing I think ever. I think I am, as one would say, a little bit colorblind. I don't think the doctors could prove it because I pass all those tests. But like for sure, when I see like blues and greens, I'm like, yeah, they're not different, you know, sometimes. And so, you know, I hate color correction. It's my least favorite thing. Anyways, today's episode 2, season 2. Dang, 2D2. There it is. The sponsors of today's episode, super stoked. Ethan Ignofo. Sponsored. I love it. Come sponsor me. I can't wait to see what you're going to buy me as a sponsor of this episode. So, Ethan, thank you. That's all. The next one, Stance. I'm never going to give up. I think that the only thing that would make me give up is if I achieve my goal and you guys begin to sponsor me on a minimal level even, or I get a cease and desist. I don't know the legalities of that at all. Don't know about it, but maybe if someone knows about that, go ahead and warn me. I won't be upset if you let me know, like, hey, what I might be getting myself into by asking Stance to sponsor me every single week. But I love it because I love you guys. Stance is great stuff. I'm wearing their socks right now. I was going to wear one of their sweaters, but it was very warm because it's so comfortable. But it is the one that says less ego, more amigo. Or I could have worn my Chillville one or my Baby Grogu one because it's great. But yeah, sponsors. Thanks, guys. The song of the day before we get into our topics. So the song of the day actually has to do with the trip to Monterey, because my wife made a like 9-hour playlist just with a ton of music that we could like download so we don't have to stream it, so that we're not like getting lost in some of the parts of the road. And the song of the day came on so often, not only on the list, but like other places we were going. We were like in this restaurant, it started playing. We're like, we're kidding. Like, you're kidding me. How is this happening? But it's In My Life, the remastered version in 2009 by the Beatles. And this has to go with the fact that I stand by what I say. I don't want to be controversial, but I have to be honest with how I feel. I am not the biggest fan of the Beatles. I'm going to make this claim, and I'm going to open this up for anyone to change my mind, because I know some people love the Beatles. A majority of the people love the Beatles, I'd even say. They are talented. I can acknowledge that. They hit the gold mine in the time. I don't think that there's much special about the Beatles, especially in today's age. I think, in a sense, and anyone change my mind if you have more details about the 60s, let me know. But I think that they were special because they were like the only people doing it. I think if they were out today making the music that they make, we could get into, hey, if their influence wasn't there, would we have some of the music that we make today? Who knows? Maybe not. Again, they were a big deal. I get that. I just think they were a bit overrated and got lucky on the time, got famous, all that good stuff. I think they're talented. They're good musicians. They make good music. But what makes the Beatles special? If you got an answer for that, let me know. I'd like to talk about that. Maybe even have someone on the podcast and we debate that. But coffee. So good. All right, folks. We made it. We made it through. Oh, the spawn of... Okay. So anyways, my first one today, I got a while back, one of my collections of topics, and it is are hot dog sandwiches. So I'll be honest, I don't think they are. The bummer is that the USDA says they are. So this might shoot into something else, but here's the deal. So hot dog, wiener, frankfurter, call it what you want, but according to some culinary experts, you shouldn't call it a sandwich. And I'd agree. I don't think it's a sandwich. I think more, if anything, it's closer to like avocado toast in a sense. That same type of build. But this thing from Reader's Digest, oh, big deal. RD.com, as they call it. It starts, does God exist? Are we alone in the universe? What came first, the chicken or the egg? All important questions and kind of murky hypotheticals that inspire rigorous debate in the hollowed halls of universities, at dinner tables, on the internet, and of course, a few drinks in at a party. So, yeah, they basically just go in to say that the USDA says the hot dog is a sandwich, which of course leads us to say, like, what is a sandwich? So, like, we can look that up real quick. Define sandwich. Because I think it has to do with two pieces of bread, which is interesting. An item of food consisting of two pieces of bread with meat, cheese, or other fillings between them, eaten as a light meal. So it's also a verb for those of you who are wordologists. Verb, insert or squeeze something or something between two other people or things, typically in a restricted space or so as to become uncomfortable. To sandwich. But yeah, like, I don't understand how people claim the hot dog is a sandwich if the definition of sandwich is two pieces of bread with things in between it. Because I don't think the hot dog has two pieces of bread. I would maybe even go as far as to say like a hamburger is a sandwich. So I had this idea. Because the USDA says it is, I'd like to know your guys' thoughts. As always, please let me know if you're listening to this. Instagram me, Dishy Man with 2 Y's. What do you think? Is it a sandwich? Is it not? Please provide why, because that's also important. Because if you don't provide it, I will ask. If you don't want to provide it, you can decline. That's okay. But let me know what you think. The USDA is great and everything. Oh, for those of you who don't know, I guess I'm throwing things out, but what if you're not from around here? For those of you who do not know, I pulled it up to be specific. The U.S. Department of Agriculture. So, in light of wanting to make a bigger thing beyond just this podcast, recording label network, whatever it turns into. Can I just stamp it in and say, according to Dish Knows Nothing, the hot dog is not a sandwich? And someone want to make a website that says just that? That'd be cool. I don't know. Let's throw it out there. Because like, if the powers that be, the USDA, says it isn't, but we don't believe so, like, a little bit of anarchy, is that all right for the definition of hot dog? You know what I mean? So I think it's cool that, you know, this United States Department of Agriculture that was founded back on May 15th, 1862, doesn't believe that the hot dog is a sandwich, or believes that the hot dog is a sandwich. I have other reasons to believe it's not. And I think a little bit of anarchy in a peaceful way, and of course a professional manner, is good. Who cares? Who cares if we disagree and we stamp our name on something else that says it isn't? So if you agree and you know how to make a website and you'll do it for free and you won't do anything extracurricularly or slanderous, then hey, let's throw out a website that says Dish Knows Nothing says the hot dog is not a sandwich. And maybe throw in a clicker that says like vote, and you can say yes or no. I don't know if that's a thing. I almost did a coding boot camp once, and maybe I could have done it myself and made something. I don't know if that's possible because I didn't get far into the coding boot camp because I did not like it. But hey, if you can do it, let me know. John Fleischley, I might be looking at you because I'm pretty sure you know how to do that stuff, and I love you. So, John, I don't know if that's hard or if that's something we can do for free, but let's look into it. Topic number 2, because that one's straightforward, guys. I don't believe the hot dog's a sandwich, and I've answered the question, and I've supported it with reasons to be supported. But the second thing that I wanted to talk about today, and I think I might just do 2, kind of feeling like I want to give this a good roll into the rest of the season before we get like too heavy, but how is concrete made? There is no answer. I'm just kidding. I looked it up. I found out. The internet's insane, guys. You guys ever just think of like the internet? Let's see. Define the internet. A global computer network providing a variety of of information and communication facilities consisting of interconnected networks using standardized communication protocols. Internet. That's crazy. Interconnected networks, internet. That's words, man. Where do they come from? Where do they go? So if you guys didn't know the internet, that's what it is. I found things through this interconnected network. I think I might just call it the interconnected network from now on. I feel like the internet it's too basic. Votes for calling it the interconnected network. Let's do it. Oh, that's so laggy. I love it. But hey, it's happening. Sorry, I was looking at the video. I have it up on my TV so I can make sure that it's still recording because my phone is flipped around. This is so inconvenient. I can't check Instagram while I'm on my podcast. This is so hard. Okay, so from mcrsafety.com, I found out how concrete is made. There are different types of concrete. This might be a deeper one than I realized that it was going to be, and that is perfectly okay with me because, you know, I will just keep recording until I'm done recording. So, types of concrete. I just realized I'm talking fast. I've just had coffee today. This is great. This is a good day. And I slept in till 7:30ish. That's crazy. Before we dive into the manufacturing process and safety concerns, here's a brief recap of some common types of concrete. This is me reading, just so you don't think that I'm speaking in such a way. Plain. This is most commonly used in the construction of buildings and roadways. Plain concrete is composed of a traditional mix of cement, sand, gravel, and the proportionate amount of water. Cement is different than concrete, guys. I think that was one thing that was to be brought up. Lightweight. This is most commonly used to protect steel structures and for thermal protection. It can be composed of a variety of materials like pumice, clay, or perlite, and is identified by having a density less than 1920 kilograms per meter per cube. They wrote that weird. It says kilograms per meter dot cube. I've never seen that notation, but I'm just going to imagine it's per cube in a sense also. So, no, we're good. Air entrained. This is a form of plain concrete infused with thousands of air particles created by infused foam and other chemical agents. This type is particularly resistant to freezing and thawing. Heavyweight. This is most commonly used in structures with high levels of radiation. Is composed mainly of high-density crushed rocks. It is identified as having density levels between 3,000 to 4,000 kilograms per meter per cube. That's high density, as one would say. Reinforced. Regarded as the most important type, reinforced concrete is identified by its integrated steel reinforcement by way of bars, rods, or mesh. This type was designed to have high tensile strength for maximum durability by erecting bridges and other weight-bearing structures. We've seen reinforced concrete. I see it. They do road work every day in California. We've seen it. Precast. This type of is not identified by the material used to create it, but rather its shape and preparation before it is brought to a job site. Cast in molds and hardened in a controlled environment. Different types of precast concrete include stairways, poles, and blocks. Interesting, as one would say. Concrete manufacturing process overview. Okay, this is really what we're getting into, because we've known there are different types, what it can be made out of from different materials, but concrete manufacturing process overview. We put together this basic overview of the manufacturing process to provide a high-level view of the tasks at hand. Number 1, batching. The first step involves gathering the ingredients necessary to produce a particular type of concrete. The type of batching, volume or weighted, is contingent on the amount of concrete being produced. Volume batching, typically involved in producing smaller batches, requires a tedious amount of manual gauge box measuring and lifting. Due to the strenuous environment, this stage of the manufacturing process requires critical care in selecting the right safety gear to safeguard against cuts, blisters, and other environmental hazards. I was really struggling right there. Sorry about that if that made no sense because of the way I read it, but okay. Batching. Mixing. Depending on type and quantity needed for a particular job, concrete can be mixed by hand, by stationary mixer, or during transport. Regardless of how it is mixed, the critical point is to ensure the concrete is uniform in color, consistency, or optimal setting. For optimal setting, hand mixing cement using shovels and other mixing tools takes its toll on workers' hands, again requiring a strong, durable glove for enhanced protection. Yeah, that's a lot. I get you. Transporting and placing. Methods of transporting concrete vary widely from wheelbarrow. Wheelbarrow is such a weird word to say. I don't like it. And manual hauling to conveyor belt operations to more advanced projects involving cranes and pumps. All of these methods require some level of manual operating, demanding advanced safety wear. From physically hauling wheelbarrows to operating and securing larger machines and equipment hauling the concrete, companies have an obligation to ensure their gloves meet safety requirements. I'm just remembering, and maybe you're just getting into this now, is that this is a safety website. So I think this is funny, like how much it's focused on that. But that's good. Safety. 4. Compacting and placing. During mixing and transport, air is often entrapped, greatly reducing the quality and strength. One of the final stages of production involves compacting the product to eliminate the air pockets and ensure durability. This can be done by evolving machinery that temporarily liquefies the concrete, instantly expelling trapped air, or by hand tooling. The extremely lightweight and waterproof MG9648 shown in this picture is the ideal choice for one using hand tools. That's funny. It's got a link to, or a hyperlink. Number 5, the last step that I think we're going to read because of the depth that we will go to for this. So number 5, curing and finishing. just changed. Sorry. This process takes place immediately after concrete is compressed and involves close attention to detail regarding moisture levels and contracting as it dries. This process is crucial in preventing cracking and durability issues. Many types of curation involve potent chemicals to seal the slab that can be incredibly hazardous to workers if exposed. Crazy, isn't it? Concrete. There it is, guys. I'm intrigued. Because, we have to. Because they mentioned cement can be used to make concrete. But I want to see concrete versus cement. What's the difference by Howden.com? So you can use cement to make concrete. That is what we get at. Which is similar to using the words flour and cake interchangeably. So it's an ingredient. Cement is an ingredient. It's not necessarily the finished product like concrete is. So interesting, because so 8 ingredients of cement. Because of course, we don't just dig a hole and be like, there is natural cement. It can be from 60% lime. Now, is this limestone or is this lime? I'm going to guess limestone because I don't think that 60% of cement is made of the citrus. But silica, alumina, magnesia, sulfur trioxide, alkaline, iron oxide, calcium sulfate. Okay, so yeah, this is a bunch of compounds and stuff. Man, I hate chemistry. Just reading those, man, really got me. So yeah, similar process. There's steps that make cement to then make concrete. Okay, we had to look that up. That's as simple as that. There it is. Someone asked, how is concrete made? It's made in that way. You get the things, you mix it up. It has to do with some form of curation for the actual process, which I think is what makes it so strong. And then, of course, the compacting and placing of when they actually put it there, making sure there's no air, and then letting it cure by drying. How is concrete made? Just like that. Of course, this was the safety version of the actual process because of the importance of safety from this website. But also, it was a bird's eye view, as they had mentioned. It's very broad. It's very, this is it. Because I noticed there was a lot of phrases there's many forms, there's various ways of doing of course there is. That makes a lot of sense. I get it. But hey, there it is, folks. I think that's actually it. I think that's all I was going to say today is just that. So big news, big-ish news, big news if you care. That's what I'll say. Next episode, I should have a guest, my first guest of season 2, and I'm super duper excited for it. I don't know what we're going to talk about, of course, in classic Dish Knows Nothing form, because I don't know what we're going to talk about, but we'll find out before we talk about it. Oh, big stretch. Someone's got to say it. We're going to have a guest. I'm super excited. So make sure you tune in next week, find out who the guest is, but also listen to what we're going to talk about, because I'm convinced it'll be interesting. I think I've been looking forward to having this guest on my show for a while. It didn't happen in season 1 because I cannot do everything. And it's as simple as that. So anyways, folks, super excited to have the next episode for you guys. I hope you enjoy this one. Let me know any feedback you have. As always, I'm always open to it because I want to make this better. Let me know if you have any tips for video editing, because I absolutely hate every part of it. But hey, videos, isn't it? All right, folks, have a good week. Catch you guys next time. Thanks again for listening to Dish Knows Nothing. Follow me on Instagram at Dishyman or email me at dishyman@gmail.com. hit me up with topics and questions that I can address on the show. Remember to rate and subscribe. It's truly appreciated. Take care and stay grinding.